Hey everyone, today we are going to discuss fertilizer dosing in this 50-gallon planted aquarium. First of all, if you are new to this channel, thanks for tuning in. I am Aquahobby and in this channel I talk about fish, plants and aquascaping. This is my 50-gallon planted aquarium. I had been maintaining it for 2.5 years. The dimension of the tank is 3 feet across length, 1.5 feet height and 1.5 feet depth. The tank is mostly dominated by epiphyte plants. When I talk about epiphyte plants, I am simply referring to fern, anubias, bouquet-flounder, moss and similar type of plants which doesn't actually require substrate. That is the reason I don't have any substrate in this lush green planted tank. I only have few decorative sand at the very front of the tank just to ensure aesthetically pleasing look. For filtration, I use a Chinese canister filter which is filled with biomedia. For biomedia, I use Sikkim matrix along with lava rocks. I do inject pressurized CO2 in this tank, and I have noticed due to pressurized CO2 injection, the growth had been significantly good. At the very beginning of this planted tank setup, I used to follow estimative index fertilizer dosing. If you don't know, estimative index fertilizer dosing is dosing of potassium nitrate, monopotassium phosphate and potassium sulfate along with micronutrients. I used to dose 3 times in a week, and during weekend I used to perform 70 to 80% water change. The reason of performing 70 to 80% water change is simply to get rid of all the excess nutrients from this tank, and it also used to reset the nutrients parameter. Now after 2.5 years, as of today, I don't dose anything in this particular planted tank. Occasionally I do dose potassium sulfate just to ensure my plants are not deprived of potassium. Till date, I do perform 70 to 80% water change on weekly basis. Now, before you go ahead and stop dosing fertilizer to your planted tank, I would like to humbly request you to stop and listen to my remaining arguments. The reason I stopped dosing fertilizer in this particular tank may not be applicable to your tank. As of today, you can see the tank is highly overstocked. It is completely overtaken by Moncosia pitari or diamond tetra. I bought only 3 of these things and they bred and completely filled up my planted tank. Now I measured nitrate concentration of this tank throughout the week, each and every day, without dosing any external fertilizer. I noticed at any given day, nitrate concentration of tank water used to stay above 5 ppm. Now the plants that I have in this tank are mostly epiphyte and very slow grower. so they don't require lot of nutrients. 5 ppm nitrate is good enough for epiphyte plants to thrive. That is the only reason I completely stopped dosing any external fertilizer to this particular planted tank. So what is happening in this tank is the food that is going in, the uneaten food along with the fish waste is creating enough nitrate and phosphate for the plants to take over. I don't have phosphate kit, but I did measure nitrate over the week each and every day. I noticed there is a spike in nitrate whenever there is a heavy feeding. But at any given day, nitrate concentration was retaining above 5 ppm. So even though I stopped dosing completely in this particular planted tank, I didn't stop changing water. Till date, I perform 70 to 80% of tank water weekly once. The reason I rely on water change is simply because I want to get rid of all the excess nutrients which are coming from fish waste. As you can see, the tank is pretty overstocked, and I have noticed over the week the nitrate can be as high as 50 ppm, which is definitely not good for the fish and plants.
Another thing normally we overlook is the necessity of calcium for your fish and plants. Your fish and plants both require good amount of calcium, and via water change I ensure they are never running short of calcium. Normally I haven't seen any aquarist dosing calcium separately. Mostly all our water contains enough calcium for the fish and the plants to thrive. There are YouTube videos available which advocates not to do water change quite frequently or not to do water change at all. I never followed that approach. For me, doing water change had always worked. Whenever I do water change, I see my fish breeding actively, and the plants love water change as well. So to summarize what we just discussed, before adding fertilizer to your planted tank, I will highly recommend you to measure the level of nitrate over a week and then determine the dosage of nitrate. This is something you might want to consider doing it quite frequent, because once the plants are growing, their nitrates need will increase significantly, manifold. So considering that in mind, a frequent water testing will always be helpful. I hope you like this video. If yes, then please like, share and subscribe. I'll see you in next video. Till then, take care and goodbye.